If you ever visit Juneau, it doesn't take long before you realize that Tlingit Formline Design dominates the local graphic scene. The most powerful recognizably local designs are Tlingit or clearly referenced Tlingit design standards. Formline designs can be found throughout historical and modern Tlingit artwork, from totem poles and blankets through beadwork and masks, and applied to current architecture and consumer products, even skis and snowboards. Arguably, it is not specific to Juneau, sharing design similarities with Haida, Tsimshian, and Kwakiutl groups, known collectively as Northwest Coast style artwork, that span the Pacific Coast north to Yakutat and south into Washington. Even so, it does offer a design vocabulary that can be used to represent this place. It has been borrowed from and appropriated, whether appropriately or not, to represent local businesses ranging from coffee shops to banks. It can be found on schools and libraries. It is, in Juneau, difficult to look very far without seeing Tlingit-inspired formline designs. Tlingit formline design has been part of the design vocabulary of the Juneau area for a long time. This long-standing design tradition likely contributes to the strong association of the designs with the place. The distinctive and recognizable elements of Northwest Coast culture, including art, emerged between 2,000 and 4,000 years ago in southeast Alaska. Copper and bronze objects engraved with geometric decoration have been found in Tsimshian areas that date from 2,500 years ago. George Dixon was one of the first white men to contact the Haida in 1787, and at that time he collected artwork that exactly meets the standards for the best Haida work of a century later. And Holmes suggests that the fact that the conventions of the art were so refined and survived the ravages of the following century absolutely intact suggests great stability and perhaps antiquity. Though it is difficult and perhaps impossible to know when the now widely recognized formline designs of Northwest Coast natives emerged, it is safe to say that it is a long-standing tradition. Totem poles offer great examples of formline design applied to three-dimensional objects. They are well-known and iconic representations of the Tlingit and Haida culture. Their prominence as public display pieces lends greatly to the association of formline design to the places they are displayed. The first carved poles were simple with very little imagery and were probably house posts, but contact and trade with Europeans created access to metal tools, which led to a boom in the 19th century in the creation of more elaborate and simply more numerous totem poles. The Europeans also brought missionaries who feared idolic associations with the totem poles, and by the late 19th century, their work ended the boom in the totem creation and led to the destruction or abandonment of many poles. The Northwest Coast style has evolved as available materials and influences have changed, but as Robert Davidson puts it, we have many threads connecting us to our past. My grandparents are one of those threads, and when these threads come together, they form a thick rope. It is that thick rope that is connecting us to our cultural past. Throughout history, artistic practices have changed and evolved, but a strong connection to a cultural past has been maintained. This strong connection to cultural past has led to a design style that is still very recognizable. This apparent long-standing consistency creates a strong association between a place and the style it produces. The calligraphic form line, ovoid, U-forms, and S-forms make up the characteristic elements. Certain forms are used to represent certain animals or people. Other common characteristics is modifying the form to fill the entire space. This principle can be seen on bentwood boxes and chilcat blankets, though there are also many examples to which this rule is not applied. These basic elements and rules make up the formline designs that are prominent and recognizable in the Northwest Coast style. In addition to the objects already mentioned, they are applied to bowls, masks, tools, formal clothing, hats, and jewelry. Early explorer Etienne Marchand wrote, "The taste of ornament prevails in all of the works of their hands. Their canoes, their chests, and the different little articles of furniture in use among them are covered with figures which might be taken for a species of hieroglyphics. But there is much more to the art than stylistic choice. An often overlooked creative expressive feature of Northwest Coast art is the use of humor. Martine Reed explains, the emergence of confident First Nation leadership in the political arena during the past few decades has led to Aboriginal artists to give vision and voice to irony, parody, satire, and comedy expressed in a broad range of works. The Raven as trickster is a well-known supernatural figure in Tlingit culture. He is always pulling jokes and pranks on people. Humor can be viewed as an unrestricted creativity for here and now to simply be enjoyed. The exhibition Carrying On Irregardless is a collection of contemporary Northwest Coast artwork that features humorous elements. It includes many juxtapositions of native and Western cultures, such as a stylized formline drawing of a front end loader, a totem pole with a chicken on top, and a formline raven on skis. In this way, contemporary artists are able to make light of cultural assimilation while employing traditional expressive techniques. They are able to express themselves using the language of formline drawing. A visit to the Trickster Art Gallery in Juneau will reveal the dynamic and vibrant nature of Tlingit artwork and design. Masks, carvings, totems, and other commonly perceived traditional artwork will not be found there. Instead, it is full of skis, skateboards, snowboards, basketballs, sunglasses, sweatshirts, t-shirts, and playing cards, masterfully and elegantly adorned with formline design by local Tlingit artists and designers who are engaged in the here and now. It is exciting to see skillful artists who bring their craft to a higher level by adapting to and working with new materials, without fear of being discredited as applied artists or sellouts. In many ways, the adornment of everyday objects with formline designs is much more traditional than the creation of now obsolete objects like halibut hooks. Tlingit and Northwest Coast formline design is a long-standing design umbrella under which a geographical area from Yakutat to Washington stands. It unifies and represents the area. Even though I am not Tlingit or Alaska Native at all, I feel that it is the strongest graphical representation of this area, my home. There is no other design standard that so clearly or powerfully represents this place. It is strongly rooted in history, but it is a part of Alaska Native culture that is alive and well, dynamic and growing, powerful and present. It is exciting to follow the work of artists like Rico Whirl at the Trickster Gallery and see the Tlingit formline design prominently displayed in new architectural projects like the recently completed Sea Alaska Heritage Center in downtown Juneau. A quick trip to our UAS library reveals that it is truly hard to look away from formline design while in Juneau.